Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to race number 5 of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4, and it's the Dutch GP this time around. I'm Zataxter as always, or Sarthak as most people call me. And we got Ruds in the commentators box as always. What's up, Ruds? How you been?
Good, fantastic as always. Was waiting for this race in particular.
Why though? I'm curious because I was waiting for this one for many reasons myself, but go ahead, tell me why you were waiting for this one in particular.
I feel that a lot of our reasons would be mutual because the first and foremost reason would be us not getting to see it in real life so far.
Yeah.
Just like, Hanoi. So Hanoi Street Circuit will not be in real life for another 2-3 years, I guess.
Exactly.
It's way too messed up, but at least Netherlands is coming this year. So there's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I can't wait for the real Formula 1 race, just as I couldn't wait for this one because I remember having it in Race 0R, and we spoke about how the BRL boys out on this track will be really a gripping race to watch out for. And we have it, and we've got a new debutant as well. Bwoah G is coming in to the Williams team alongside Hyrox 24, and qualifying sessions already underway. So let's just jump straight to it. Shock qualifying will begin. 18 minutes of shock qualifying. Each driver will get a chance to set a lap time, which will guarantee a grid spot based on their lap times for the race itself. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Drivers. Bwoah G comes alongside Hyrox 24, and Drunken Monkey is back. For those of you who don't know, Drunken Monkey back in BRL Season 3 won 2 races, was contesting for the championship title as well, but unfortunately due to issues with his device and whatnot, had to drop off midway. He was the teammate of Vix356.
That was a fantastic partnership, and funnily enough, Ashwin had 2 personas throughout the season.
Yeah.
And it was literally like having 2 different alter egos because one of them was definitely better than the other. And would you care to lighten the audience on what the 2 personas were, Sarthak?
Yep, he started off as Drunken Monkey in the league, and which translated into the Supreme Leader later on. So I think, however, both wins came, one win came with Drunken Monkey, the in-game name, and the other win came to the Supreme Leader. But yeah, he's back today, and he's back in the car he raced in, and everyone were quite intimidated of him at the time. Our Racing Point, he's in the Racing Point alongside KDB, so that's another lineup of 2 drivers who are race winners. And speaking of drivers, they're all coming out of the pits. Probably the quickest time in a long time.
This track will definitely be a little bit on the messy side, but as pointed out by Rusty Nish to everyone in BRL, there are a lot of areas you can sneak into to give access to others, and let's see if everyone abides by that.
16 drivers out on track. A bunch hopefully will join as our qualifying keeps going. Free is out on track. He was on pole position last weekend. Let's see if he can pull off something similar this weekend as well. A strong start for the team that translated into a horrible race, unfortunately, for both Freeze and Horning. They'll be looking to do the same this weekend around, I'm sure.
And I'm pretty sure that the Mercedes drivers want to forget the entirety of Chinese GP and just dive headfirst into this, and hopefully, they come out much better.
Yeah, and same goes with a bunch of other drivers out on track. I can right away tell you, Rusty Nish wants to forget last race as well. He'll be looking to do much better this weekend around, because they were actually set for a strong result. Alpha Tauri, him and Ferrero did end up getting that podium after stewards went over a couple of things. But yeah, Rusty Nish getting into the points is crucial, especially for the Constructors' Championship.
Yes, indeed. And I think the Chinese GP so far was one of the most convoluted races. There were a lot of nasty incidents, and not nasty as in dangerous, but definitely we saw the most amount of DNFs so far in BRL season 4. So, yep, Chinese GP definitely was an interesting one.
And the lap times are being set as we speak. KDB, the first one to set a lap time, 1 minute 10.081 is the time to beat for now. And as usual, UK is out there laying down some rubber on intermediates.
And we have Drunken Monkey out on his hot lap right now. So that will be his first stint in BRL season 4. Flirting so much with the curbs are that yep, he definitely invalidated his lap time. Just I was about to say, hope he does not invalidate it.
It'll take some time to get the grips with the game itself. 2019 was quite different as from what I've heard from these drivers, and we've got a couple of the drivers who are missing coming in right now. Got Avi on track as well. Wex coming through, setting a lap time as well in the top 5 as always. But he needs to be able to have strong results like that in the race as well. General Pepe beating that lap time set earlier by KDB. Big Man Joe right up there as well.
Yep, we will start seeing familiar names soon on the top of the leaderboards, because you have to keep this in mind that Zandvoort is a technical track, and the better drivers will definitely find it easier to get to grips with the track compared to maybe newbies who have not raced here before, or people who don't have enough practice on this track.
I'm curious to see, one of the main things is of course where Drunken Monkey will put himself in qualifying, and later on how the race will go for him. But even more curious to see how Wixty56 will do this time around, because he had a pretty decent race. I don't think first points finish. Actually, it could be. Yes, it was his first points finish last race around this season. So yeah, I'm curious to see how he'll do this race.
It definitely was. We had a running meme of Gotts being the only guy to score points for Ferrari, but surprisingly, both the Ferrari drivers scored points last race. So Ferrari is slowly but steadily finding that stability they need. And Wix really took some hard lessons from the Bahrain GP, and you can see the results now.
Yeah. And speaking about Gouts as well, he's invalidated his lap as we speak, but my drive from him back in China. If he can keep the same momentum going throughout the season, that would be great for us, for the viewers, and for himself. Let's hope he does.
For sure.
We
do only have 19 drivers on the grid though, Sarthak, so one of them is missing, and we don't need to look hard to find out who it is.
Yes. Accelerate. Currently missing out on the race. I know SV is not at his home, so that's why Gambler's out on track for the Red Bull team. So it's Accelerate yet to come in, and I wonder if he will. Otherwise, it's going to take a huge hit with the constructors' points Red Bull can gain race on race, and that was really close. I think Gambler's glitching quite a bit.
True, and not just that, if Accelerate does not manage to get into the race on time before the race starts, Red Bull will be the first team this season to get a DNS token. For those of you who don't know, it's basically the did not start token, so teams will get penalized for not putting both the cars on the track for the race weekend.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure SV will be a bit worried at this point, because he could have just come out on track perhaps if his plans were altered just a bit. Ferrello putting in a time, second fastest so far with just over 10.5 minutes to go into short qualifying of race number 5. Meanwhile, KDB are on track on a fast lap himself. Avi puts in third fastest lap time. Drunken Monkey is still way off. He hasn't set a lap time yet, so hoping for good things UK just lap time, puts himself 9th fastest and goes on to the gravel there, KDB. Mr. Wex horning 19 drivers out on track. For the 9 of you all watching, drop in the chat who you're here for. Who do you think will be on top? I'm pretty sure most of you think it'll be General Pepe. 1 minute 9.235 is the time to beat. 9.5 minutes left into short qualifying. Qualifying itself seemed a bit cloudy. I just wonder if we'll have rain for the race. And the drivers are definitely not going to be happy about me saying that. As it stands, it's great to see the top 10. And of course our debutant Bwoah G running 11th fastest so far. He's a really strong driver. I'd say he can put himself in the top 5, but time will tell. And that time is 9 minutes left. Baby Shumi 13th fastest, Gamebler 14th fastest, and 3 drivers only copy Drunken Monkey and Vix256 yet to set a lap time. He's on a fast lap himself. Let's stay on board Vix256 as he goes around Zandvoort. This could just be an issue. Oh, loses his rear and goes into the wall there. Resets the track instantly and will continue the lap. We'll be looking to start another lap time, unfortunately for him. As it stands, okay, let's stay on board Drunken Monkey as he's on the fast lap. I think race start is something everyone will be excited for, given the nature of the track. The elevations, I believe there's a... Okay, my mind just went completely blank there, but back to Drunken Monkey.
Yes, I do not know why my Discord tried being sneaky but wouldn't let me connect. But I'm finally back.
It's okay. It's alright. Drunken Monkey just went into the pits. So let's quickly jump on to Mr. X, who's on lap time. I'm at a loss of words for this Ruds, but what's Zandvoort known for? I believe the inclines, of course. Yes. Now it pops up into my head. Yep.
He was talking about how teams will be coming out in groves, how the drivers will be following each other only for their normal temperature checks, because it is very, very difficult to follow a car, because Zandvoort has so much dirty air because of their corners and the brutal hills. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out during the race. And on the same note, recharging your batteries will be such a pain because there are hardly any braking zones. I think the only braking zone that comes good enough to charge your batteries is at the start of Sector 3, where Mr. Wex is approaching right now. But other than that, you have no way to charge your battery. So I guess battery management is a more crucial aspect than fuel management this time.
I'm looking forward to see the drivers take on the inclinations as Vex goes through one as we speak. He's on a fast lap, set purple sector on sector 1, crosses the finish line, goes second fastest, rightly so. 6 minutes left. This is interesting. I wonder what kind of times we'll see on the board as qualifying goes down to 2 minutes or even a minute or so.
Do you see any or Sarthak on the leaderboard? Because I might be seeing 1 or 2.
You broke off a bit, Ruds. Can you repeat that?
I was asking you if you are seeing any surprise names so far on the leaderboard.
Not
somebody way higher or way lower than you expected.
Not yet. I'd say as Vex had a bit of a spin in sector 2 and he goes off track, making sure he steers clear of the Alpha Tauri. Also, back to the names you were mentioning, Bwoah G, a debutant. I wouldn't say I'm surprised because he is a high driver, a pretty quick one as expected. I did say earlier on that he will be in the top 5. What I am, a bit surprised about is in qualifying, RB Ferrero is doing pretty well. He is second fastest so far, and not the first time around. Earlier on into short qualifying as well, he was right up there. So I just wonder if he'll be starting on the front row possibly.
Yep, I think he seems to be loving the track, and it shows. He has that amount of confidence required to navigate the turns. Because one slip of your steering wheel and you're off into the gravel, or worse, into the barriers.
Yep. And UK goes 4th fastest, and if he can get to start 4th, that'll possibly be his highest qualifying position this season.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
He has not had the best of luck when it comes to qualifying, and
not at all.
He would be hoping that today something is different.
Sure. 4 minutes left into qualifying. A bunch of drivers having issues, disconnecting and joining back. Baby Shumi currently 14th fastest. We still haven't been able to see a better performance from him in qualifying, at least. We do see him in the first stints of the race, first stint on his set of tires, do pretty well, and the second stint he gets caught off guard. So might be something he'd like to work on, perhaps. But yeah, as it stands, General Pepe fastest out on track. His lap time still yet to be beaten. Sitting in the pits as well, along with the rest of the drivers who are in the top 3, Ferrero and Avi. UK goes in to join them in the pits as well.
That's true, and I guess for Zandvoort at least, you don't need to worry that much about position, because it's more about your race pace and how you manage to get through in terms of overtaking. All of the drivers will definitely be going for a one-stop strategy. So it's either going to be from softs to hards, or it's going to be medium to hards. Now the thing with softs is that you get around 15 laps of life from the our friendly red tires, but the mediums go up to 21 laps, and the hards will go up to 27 before they enter puncture territory. So a medium and hard will let you get the maximum out of your tires without having to worry about tire wear. But I guess a red and a white is the best strategy to go for.
I'm pretty sure we'll see at least Avi trying a bullish kind of strategy, because we did see him do what he did best back in the second race, if I'm not wrong. Wait, where did he get the podium? Bahrain?
Yep. It was indeed Bahrain, where he managed to get the absolute maximum out of his mediums, if I'm not wrong, and that just got him a podium. So yeah, we're gonna say pulling a Freeze, or maybe pulling an Avi from now on. Because surprisingly, Freeze and Avi did this on the mediums.
The two different races, pretty well done by both drivers. Bwoah G lost his rear quite a bit in sector 1 as he started his fast lap. Currently sits 5th fastest. UK sits 4th fastest on his out lap, as well as Ferrello. I'm interested to see if Bwoah G can manage to score a podium just like the driver who he's filling for has so far in the season, Chris Bai.
It's not too soon to write anyone off, but I definitely feel that given the pace Bwoah G is showing, we can expect a top 5 finish and maybe even a podium if things go the right way.
Rocketman's another one of those drivers who I'd say was doing pretty well last race, and this race he could possibly do equally well. But then again, it's Zandvoort. They haven't raced here before. What do you think about Rocketman, Ruds?
I guess that for today he might have the home advantage, if you know what I mean. So both the Alpha boys will have the home advantage, being in Netherlands right now. But jokes aside, I do feel that Rocketman should be able to finish in the points at least. and if not, he should be targeting that. But without a doubt, Big Man Joe is going to need all the help he can get if he wants to do something for the constructors fight.
Also something I failed to notice, only Cuppy is out on track for Hyrox 24. So the two main drivers of the Williams team are both not on track, and qualifying has ended. All three drivers at the back of the pack will not be able to set a new lap time. Drunken Monkey seems to have retired, which means he will start 12th in the race. General Pepe is on provisional pole as it stands, and the top 5 drivers are all on fast laps. Ferrello goes into the pits directly, followed by a Williams, who I'm guessing is Bwoah G. Yes. So he won't be able to better lap time. UK as well. Doesn't seem like he's on a fast lap. Let's say on Avi as he goes through sector 3. Hasn't really improved on his time. Let's stay on him.
As things look right now, all the top 10 drivers will be starting on the softs. So I guess that everybody else behind will be starting on the mediums. Ning has the biggest advantage, starting P11 with a free choice of tires. So medium to hard should be the way to go, and we might see Honing climb if things go his way.
Yeah, and KDB with the last minute time lap, he managed to put himself 4th fastest, right above UK. Big Man Joe stays 9th fastest after that lap. Honing goes straight into the pits. So that's pretty much our grid for today. General Pepe with the pole position once again. Ferrello as expected on the front row, and Avi on the second row alongside KDB. So the first 2 rows are incredible already. Like right off the bat, as long as Avi doesn't send it, just like he did in, I'd say, Vietnam, perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah. As long as that doesn't happen, Avi's set out for a good race today. We've seen him climb from the midfield all the way to the top, so I won't be surprised if he replicates that and holds on to the race lead for a while going into the race. But yeah, Avi will start P3, and the grid will be on screen soon enough. General Pepe on pole position.
Something to note, sir, the KDB gets a 5-place grid penalty, I think. Yes, he does. So
he does. I wonder why.
So according to the race director, there is a mention of Freeze getting disqualified because he was parked in a dangerous zone. As for KDB, I don't see anything. Yes, there is. KDB had a collision with Big Man Joe, which caused him to incur that penalty.
Unfortunate for KDB.
This happened off camera, so we couldn't pick it up, sadly.
Which means he will be starting the race in the position Big Man Joe qualified in P9.
Yep, I wonder what he would be thinking of his chances now.
UK gets a second row then. Brilliant. He'll be glad
I was
about
just
that.
about to say that UK indeed gets his P4 back.
Yeah. He can hope for a good start going into race number 5. We should be good to go. The standing still on my screen, and I hope it is for you as well, Ruds.
Yep, it still is. We are on the standing screen, and I do feel that turn 1 will be messy. I'm assuming people just shoot straight in the front and end up in the gravel.
And we see Gouts right up there in the top 10 as well. Clap for him. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy about that. Hoping for another points finish. Get some points home for the team as well. I think Big C56 starting at the back of the pack this time around. Unfortunate for him, but let's just hope the race turns out to be how it was for him last weekend round. And yeah, seems like we just might have rain going into the last few laps of the race, perhaps.
Maybe. But I'm going to hold you on that thought, Sarthak, because we have received news from Freeze saying that his game crashed. And when his game crashed, his AI automatically disqualified him for some reason. So that's the reason why we were not seeing Freeze anymore.
Yeah, fortunate for him, but again, back to the game being the way it is, you will have to start at the back of the pack.
Well, that just makes his work cut out for him, but Horning should be able to salvage something for Mercedes
Yeah.
while Fries gets to term with his position.
We could see a good climb up the pack by Fries. I'd say a points finish is still on the cards. I wouldn't, take that off him. He is a strong driver, proven driver, race winner as well. Pole position this season, he managed to pull that off last weekend. So we can hope for a good race from him. Session will start soon enough. UK is ready to go. Gerald Pepe as well, and all the drivers will ready up, sort out their setups for the race, and we should be underway for race number 5.
Any bold predictions, Karthik, or are we going mellow this time?
Let's go mellow. In my opinion, last weekend's race has still caught me off guard quite a bit, but I'd still say we can see a strong performance from the Renault drivers. I'm curious to see how they do. As the formation lap begins, Gerald Pepe will lead the pack.
Yep, and as we had the predicted strategy up on the screen a while ago, the game predicts that the front runners will soon pit for their fresh tires somewhere between lap 11 and 13, but you technically can push those reds up to lap 15. So maybe we'll see a lot of undercutting happen, sir. And I think that will be interesting on a track like Zandvoort.
Speaking of strategy, beyond P10, only Baby Shumi, Fries and Vix 356 have chosen the soft tires. And looks like even though Fries did get disqualified, his lap time did award him a P16 start, so that's great for him.
Yep, all is not lost, but he sadly could have done better.
I'm sure.
And I don't see any reason why we don't believe that.
I mean, for sure he could have, but looking at the bright side of things, P16 start, I'd say he gets the jump on Seto RC18, Rocky Man and Baby Shumi past the first couple of turns, then he's got Drunken Monkey to battle and then his teammate. So I'd say he's into the points by lap number 2. But I'm being a bit optimistic here. Anything's possible. He's got Seto RC18 to worry about to an extent at least, because he has proven to be quite the driver last season around, this season as well. And getting past Rocketman and Baby Shumi isn't easy either. We've seen Baby Shumi fend off the likes of Vix 356. So let's not underestimate the man.
Yep, and I got the news that the YouTube stream is not visible. The race is blank apparently. So is there an issue, sir?
Yeah, it was on the race number 5 poster. So yeah, it'll be good to go now.
Trying to incite the audience, I see.
Yeah. It's okay, formation lap. Nothing happens, folks, in the formation lap. Okay, actually you get to see all the drivers go around the track for a single lap, but yeah, okay. You can hold me to it or you might as well not. As 36 lap race is ready to begin. Race number 5 of season 4. General Pepe on pole position. Let's stay on him and hopefully no glitches this time around, and as soon as those 5 lights come on and go, we'll be all set for race number 5 to go. Weird though, Ruds right off the bat, it says we are on lap number 2, and I just wonder if it's on my screen or on everyone's, because I just have a feeling it's a glitch once again.
Yes, it shows lap 2 out of 36 for me. I never knew that the formation lap counts as the first lap, but okay. F1 2020 surprising us in new ways with each passing day.
I just wonder if we'll be able to start or we'll be forced to redo the lobby itself. Welcome to Formula 1 game 2020, folks. Kind of
It might be possible because the grid is not starting so far, and I see a steward waving the green flag in the distance. So let's just hope that the game has not bugged up, so to say.
Already support for Only Cuppy coming through in the chat. He'll be starting P19 as he's alongside Gambler. I'm pretty sure we're up for a lobby redo, Ruds, because it's funny, even on our screens the camera's just moving in a kind of an oscillating
Very
way.
trippy camera, not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah.
The cameraman really needs to come to the his workplace sober, but
Of course. Anyway, folks, stay with us. Let's just quickly uh, take a short break of sorts to redo the lobby. And we're back. And a lobby redo has commenced, and we should be racing soon enough.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us has seen such a bad game-breaking bug that it literally crashed a few games, including mine.
Oh yeah, all right.
My game was, I mean, it didn't crash basically, but when I quit the lobby, my game crashed for some reason. And when I restarted the game, it actually asked me to jump into character creation. So I was scared. I just, I Alt F4 the game, and luckily my progress is intact, thankfully.
All right, I had a similar issue with the game crashing, but nonetheless, we'll be set to go. Custom grid, General Pepe on pole position, of course. Top 10 drivers on softs, and beyond only 3 drivers on softs, who are, I believe, Baby Shumi, Vix356, as well as Freeze. An interesting race ahead, 36 laps of brilliant racing by the 19 drivers out on track. Can't wait.
Yep. And I think we might finally see our first DNS token.
Yeah.
Sorry, because Accelerate has not marked his, has not shown his presence, and he's AWOL, so
yeah,
I don't know what SU must be feeling right now.
Yeah, definitely. As we're
waiting on one more driver.
What this race might have been if SV was out on track. SV and Gambler would have been pretty cool, I'm sure. But yeah, hopefully in the future, Drunken Monkey all set to go. We will have the formation lap, from what I've heard.
Yes, indeed, and we will have the same weather that we had for the actual race, and yeah, it's not going to be rainy, but it's definitely going to be overcast and gloomy, something which we enjoy.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier on, I'm just going to say it all over again. Renault drivers, watch out for them, as well as Vix356, a possible climb, and Freeze as well, because both of them are starting off together at the back.
Yep, and this time our pit strategies might actually turn out to be a little different because all the tires will be fresh, Sarthak. So the softs, instead of having the predicted pit strategy of 11 to 13, we might be pushing for the theoretical pit stop of lap 15. So I just hope that it does not ruin anyone's race, but yeah, it's just gonna get more difficult for people to overtake now. We're in for the show, so I am going to be a neutral audience for this.
Curious to see how this race is going to pan out. General Pepe had mentioned this isn't one of his, strong tracks per se, but he's on pole position. I think we can push that off the table right away. That was just BS perhaps, or his version of not being good at a track exceeds the versions of other drivers in the league, or perhaps anyone who plays this game. But yeah, as the banter comes to a halt in the WhatsApp group, drivers will concentrate on the race. 36 laps around the circuit of Zandvoort.
Yep, like you mentioned, Sarthak, I have decided to take everything General Pepe says with a pinch of salt, because for a guy to be P18 with less than 10 laps to go and then finishing up in the top standings, I can't take the person seriously anymore. In a good way. But yeah.
Yep. Race at Zandvoort. Let's go. I'm looking forward to this one. The inclinations are going to be a factor or not, perhaps, especially when when a driver doesn't have an end plate, for that matter. We've seen how much that's affected in a normal race, a race where it's pretty much flat out. There aren't elevations or as such of any kind, and then going into turn 1 right off the bat on the circuit, the track gets all different, very different from the other tracks we race on throughout the season.
True, and this is not the original Zandvoort, by the way. The Zandvoort has had sort of a renovation in
Yes.
the recent years, and this is very, very different from the Zandvoort that the 1970s and 80s used to witness. And I believe that Zandvoort was the first race win of Niki Lauda.
Yes.
I think so, and yes, so that has it is steeped in history. But this format of the Zandvoort track, which we are seeing right now in the game, is yet to be tested, and 2021 will be the first time it's going to be tested. So
Yep.
I do expect some exciting fireworks when it happens, both in our game and in real life.
As the drivers sort out their setups for the race, we are ready to get on with the formation lap. UK starts up ahead as well. A possible podium for UK, I'd say.
It's not out of the reach, and he is on similar tires as everyone else around him. So he needs to just keep his wing intact, his nose clean, and yeah, UK might finally get that podium which slipped out of his hands last race.
Just might. Taking awful lot of time this time around. Don't see why though. Let's just hope it's not another issue of sorts. Everyone waits on UK, folks. As soon as UK readies up, that means everybody's ready to go.
Yes, indeed. And I don't know why setups take so long. Okay, finally the session
Yeah.
starts.
We're waiting just
Looks like
you,
everyone's in a
folks.
mood to tease.
Yeah.
First you with the YouTube banner and now UK.
Well, 7 of you all watching, make sure you drop in the chat who do you think will come out on top at the end of lap 1, because more often than not there's always a change in the race leader from the start as well as the end of lap 1, but General Pepe should be able to pull away pretty decently. But then again, he's got quite the competitors alongside him. Once the five lights go out after the formation lap, almost did a trick on me, the game, once again.
Yeah, I thought you were almost ready to murmur 5 lights and away we go, but I was like, okay, Sarda's getting too excited because we've all been waiting for too long.
Yeah, and also a light popped up
Already had
on my screen.
2 incidents, by the way, started.
Yeah, I mean, they just get sent straight to the grid. So I think that's something they can be glad about, not like real Formula 1 where you actually end up starting at the back of the pack, perhaps? Or from the pit lane, if I'm not wrong.
Could you repeat that? Sounds like your voice sort of broke for a while.
Alright. In case of a disqualification in the formation lap during real Formula 1, you'd usually start in the pit lane, I'd assume? Or...
On the level of damage you have caused or received. So most of the times if you spin out, you just tend to head back to the starting grid. But if the rest of the bunch is already near the grid, then you are taken into the pit lane.
Got it.
We could have seen something like that happening in Hungary when Max Verstappen plowed into the barriers on his way to the grid, but the Red Bull engineers, being Red Bull engineers, fixed it on the grid itself. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Red Bull engineers drink 5 cans of Red Bull before they come to do their job, you know?
Yeah.
They're that good.
Right. And that was an incredible race for them, for the team as a whole. And yep, the predicted pit stop strategy on your screens, folks, as Rhodes briefed up everyone earlier on. Watch out for Avi's strategy, because that'll be a completely left field one. Of course, Thor in the chat showing his support to his team, UK and Seto RC18. Seto RC18 starting P15 as UK starts way ahead in the pack, up in P4. Baba G starts P5, Mr. Wex. Avi and Mr. Wex putting the Renaults in top 10 once again. And when the 5 lights go out, finally we'll be able to begin the race number 5, Dutch GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4. Lights go out and the drivers shoot down the main straight. Pepe gets a rather conservative start, and seems like the standings have glitched almost instantly. Let's stay on board Pepe. Right behind, I see Mr. Wex going to the barriers, and I wonder if he's the only one who got caught off with luck. No, it's Avi as well. It's both the Renaults. It's disaster for both the Renaults yet again.
So Drunken Monkey spun out in the next set of corners. Mr. Wex will overtake him easily.
Yep.
Oh, maybe not.
And up in the pack, I wonder if it's a glitch, because it just might be. Yep, the grid's pretty much glitching for me. Giant Pepe is still leading this race with Ferrello right behind, folks.
UK is on P3. He capitalized on Avi's mistake, and now UK will look to build on that.
Avi's like a charging bull, isn't he? Because he's right there on the tail of UK, right at the back of the pack. Positions being swapped. Drunken Monkey getting a jump on Gambler, as Gambler might just have spun. He's running at the back of the pack.
Yep, it was Wex at the back of the pack, then it became Drunken Monkey at the back of the pack, and now it's Gambler at the back of the pack. Yeah. These three had a calamitous first lap, but yeah, they have a lot of ground to catch up on.
Yeah, staying on board Big Man Joe, he's on the tail of KDB. Mighty battles to come between these two drivers. Both race winners contested for the title last season round. Now running P7 and P8, all within half a second of each other.
Baby Shumi had to dive into the pits to change his front wing, just like Mr. Wex. And these two are trailing by almost half a lap now.
Unfortunate for Wex, yet again having an unfortunate start to a race. Seems to be caught off guard more often than not. Vixie 5-6 making the climb up the back. Now this is impressive. He's still 3 seconds off his next competitor, who's Rocket Man up ahead. But he did get the jump on Freeze.
Yep, I'm surprised to see KDB still being in P7, although he was P9, so he did gain 2 positions. But I do feel that we will start seeing more overtakes after lap 5, when the field has sort of expanded.
And support coming through in the shot for Gambler, who's currently running P17. And right up ahead, Avi chasing down UK for his position. 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Freeze.
It genuinely feels hard that Freeze just cannot catch a break, and I do want to be proven wrong, but I think it might be getting to him, so he needs to just put his head down, keep his focus, and keep going.
Yeah, indeed he must. And speeding in the pit lane, not a rare penalty per se this season around, but 5 races in, I'd expect that not to pop up, but unfortunately it did. UK managed to get just a bit of gap compared to the last sector to Avi. Meanwhile, KDB goes wheel to wheel with Babaji. I thought he got the jump on him already, but he's going wheel to wheel with Babaji. Lost a bit of traction there in that corner. Babaji should be able to hold on to his position for just a bit of time, but on his gearbox is KDB.
Yeah, Babaji had the inside line, so that banking curve was a real lifesaver for him.
KDB trying on the inside.
Yes, exactly. The other issue of Zandvoort.
And he spins! He spins, and Big Man Joe, the one to capitalize on that KDB. Unfortunate for him, but go ahead, Rhodes. You were talking about the track itself.
Yep, I was talking about the start-finish straight, and it's just way too short to, pull a successful overtake out. And you saw what happened here because of that. KDB did not have enough track to get the overtake done, and that resulted in the turn 1 incident.
Fortunate for him, General Pepe will have a smile on his face, because this driver is his main competitor in the driver's title fight as well, and he's now currently running P13. He won the race last weekend, mind you. Only 4 laps done so far into the race, 32 laps left, and anything is possible. KDB currently runs P13 and behind Setu RC 18.
For sure. And while you were talking about Freeze and his pit stops, he has gone on to a set of hards. Only Kapi started on a set of hards. Baby Shumi is also on the hard, so we already have 3 runners on the hards, and they're all at the back of the pack.
Drunken Monkey seems to be finding his controller or whatever device he's using a bit twitchy, because he had quite an issue in the previous corner. KDB gets that jump on Setu RC18 as one might expect. Let's stay on board Drunken Monkey for a while, because I just wonder if he'll take the fight to Setu RC18. 1.5 seconds is the gap to him. Time will tell.
And like you were talking about, his inputs are I think Drunken Monkey mentioned that he's using the keyboard, quote unquote, as usual. So, yep, he has some practice on it at least.
Of course. A different league of his own, if you might say, using the keyboard in this game. Meanwhile, I must mention Ferrello has disconnected. He has a 2-second gap to General Pepe, and UK was just a second behind him. So UK will take that position. As we see Ferrello, his AI is driving right there, ghosted as well, loses out on a position. I just hope he reconnects in time to fend off Avi.
Yes, indeed. The fights will be very, very close on this track. And like I said, by your battery management, your battery conservation is also important. And I think that many of the drivers are already running out of battery.
And Ferrello joins just when Avi has passed him. Hopefully he will be able to fend off Baba G and Big Man Joe, who are all within a second of him. 3-second time penalty for only Cup. He was running P16, and this race just got a bit interesting. UK is running P2, 3 seconds off of General Pepe.
Freeze is still at the back, not having gained at all.
Yeah, and Ferrello spins. He was trying to rejoin. Car ghosted and lost 2 more positions, and he has fallen down to P6.
That's rather unfortunate, but UK might be very happy with that because he gets to go and attack General Pepe directly now.
Meanwhile, the two drivers who competed for the realistic performance Ferrari seat last season around is out on track competing for position. Rusty Nish and Gouts for P7.
Do you think Rusty will get a move done, or is he just too far for Gouts?
I just wonder, a couple of more corners perhaps, but Gouts, he has changed his driving style quite a bit in my opinion since the last race. If he can keep it going and fend off Rusty Nish, well, kudos to him, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed. We are seeing a lot of changes in the driver style for each and every person involved in VR when you compare them to Season 3. So I do feel that F1 2020 as a game has kind of stepped up their game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree 100%. Speaking of people stepping up their game, as expected, Vixie56 7 laps up and he's running in the points. Mind you, just 2 weekends ago, he was a rookie on a wheel as well as with no assist on.
Incredible how fast he has gained, that esport level confidence that you need, and yeah, all he needs now is that consistency to go with it.
If he keeps doing what he's doing, latter half of the season, man, I can't wait. But for now, 8 laps up in this race. General Pepe is still leading it, of course. Avi gets the jump. UK falling incredibly. I wonder if he has an issue. No damage. I wonder what happened there.
His tires do look a tad bit toasty on the left. They were above 100 degrees a while ago, so I'm assuming he span out maybe.
Yeah, perhaps, but he kept it clean. I mean, his wing is doesn't seem like it has major damage, so that's something he can be optimistic about, but falls down to P6, giving Avi that position. Baba G running in the podium positions, but too soon to say anything with respect to the podium itself. 8 laps up, and we've got quite the race already.
Rangan fallen a lot. I wonder what happened to him. I think he's disconnected, Sarthak. Nope, he's back. He was just ghosted for a while.
It's a glitch. He's actually running P14 still.
Oh.
Yeah.
F120 got me again.
F120
I
gets
think we need a
buzz.
buzzing sound effect on our live stream, Sarthak, for each time the game gets buzzed.
We perhaps should incorporate that. Yep, let's work on that for the next race, that's for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Freeze still ran P18, unfortunately. He spun! Freeze has spun in Sector 2. He was on the grass. We'll rejoin P19. Meanwhile, General Pepe comfortably leading this race with a 6-second gap to his rival, who's Avi in P2, who's got Baba G and Big Man Joe behind. Gouts in the points already, running P7. Rusty Nish right up there, UK running P6, Wixie 5-6, and Horning as well puts himself in the points so far. Ferrello will be looking forward to go into the top 3, I'm sure.
Yep. I think each driver will try to just defend their positions now. Freeze goes into the pits again, changes the front wing, and gets a tire change. So
KDB on the grass.
Very costly.
Ruds. KDB on the grass while that happened in Sector 2, between Sector 2 and 3. Unfortunate for him. It seemed like he was trying a move on Rocket Man and something went wrong and he put himself on the grass.
That turn 1 scrap with Babaji proved very costly for KDB.
The closest competitors out on track seems to be Babaji and Big Man Joe as they push towards getting that position on the podium. Perhaps 26 laps to go, folks. Already we've got 2 penalties on board. Freeze running at the back of the pack, having started P15 if I'm not wrong, P17 actually. So the qualifying went terrible for Freeze and so is the race so far. With 26 laps to go, you can hope for an amazing drive from him. Hopefully, if he still got the mindset you need.
Very true. And Babaji and Big Man Joe both in striking distance of Avi. So let's see who gets the jump on whom. They are on the start-finish straight right now.
We've seen Big Man Joe pull off 2 in 1, like I'd like to say, but I don't think he'll be able to. Considering what you said earlier on, that main straight isn't the longest, is it?
Yep, very true. And the dirty air that you get from each of these turns is just so terrible to counteract that you spend most of your time handling your car rather than overtaking someone.
Rusty Nish finding it difficult, clearly because of the reason you just stated, to close in on Gouts. For a while now, he's been within a second of the driver in the red car. The car he used to drive last season and managed to win 3 times in as well.
Yes, indeed. If you are racing on Zandvoort, you would pick leading the pack or leading in open air 10 out of 10 times rather than follow someone, and that is something that cannot be changed. It's just how physics work.
10-second penalty for exceeding track limits for Freeze as his teammate fancies a move on Rusty Nish. On the tail.
This is Freeze's second consecutive 10-second penalty for exceeding limits. The pit window is open now.
And rightfully so. Rusty Nish goes into the pit. Avi does as well. And Vix 356 making sure Horning gets that position. And another one in the process, because Avi might just come out on the hards behind 7 drivers.
Yep, and Horning is currently the highest runner on the mediums, while Avi is the highest runner on the hards. So these two are in the prime position to take over once the front runners pit. And Freeze has retired from the session.
He went straight into... Unfortunate. I mean, I believe I'd say this is a voluntary retirement because it isn't full course yellow yet. But then again, I wonder if it isn't. Let's stay on board General Pepe because I have a feeling we got Freeze here on the right hand side.
Or scam, and we can see Freeze was right there, but is it the AI driving him? I think so.
Perhaps that was Baby Shumi. So regardless, bunch of drivers going into the pits and have come out. General Pepe into the pit as well, along with Gouts, possibly mimicking that strategy of General Pepe. Will come out on the hards. We lost a driver already to Zandvoort. But 18 drivers still out on track. Lots
When
to
it's
come.
not your day, it's not your day. It can get incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, I'm sure. And Vic 356 on board his old teammate, Drunken Monkey. Down the inside, I'm at a loss of words, sorry, because these two drivers were quite the competitors last season. I'm getting some mighty flashbacks. Even though teammates, they were wheel to wheel quite often. To see them once again is a treat to watch.
Yup, they were almost side by side, and one of them tries to pull a move on the other defends, and then just goes into a switcheroo. There's just no separating these two right now in this sector.
Staying on board Wix 356 as Drunken Monkey fends off Wix. Trying his best. Keyboard versus wheel, folks. Keyboard versus wheel.
We have a very few keyboard racers left, and Drunken Monkey was definitely in the higher categories of that.
Meanwhile, up ahead, Big Man Joe and UK take to the pit stops. Baba G and Ferrello, only drivers out on 13-lap-old softs. Baba G leads a race in the Bwoah Racing League for the very first time.
Will Wix get the moves out of that? I think he just might. Look at Drunken Monkey.
I just wonder. Yeah, Drunken Monkey goes straight into the pits and Wix 356 will get the position. I'm pretty sure both drivers enjoyed that one.
Definitely, and Drunken Monkey had to concede at one point or the other. He was on 13-lap-old softs.
Meanwhile,
Which
right?
makes you wonder why the front two have not pit yet.
Unusual, but meanwhile, right behind the two drivers who are competing for position is Vex and KDB competing for position as both drivers lock up one tire each. KDB did peek down around the outside, and around the outside he goes, and down the inside into the next corner. Should have position unless Vex tries to compete for it yet again. I'm sure he won't go down without a fight, but seems like Vex just doesn't have the pace. But KDB goes onto the gravel, unfortunate, and he crashes. Yes, he's lost parts of his front wing. It's disaster for KDB yet again. End plate gone.
Which is very sad because he just pit for his hards, and oh, that's rather unfortunate for him.
Unfortunate. Baba G still in the pits, will come out on the mediums, of course. The other driver who pit with him, Big Man Joe, is out on the hards already. So I wonder if it's an issue for Baba G. Oh, no, not Big Man Joe. I'm sorry, Ferrello. On the hards and out on track. I wonder what happened there. Why is Baba G behind Ferrello? Because he was in front of Ferrello earlier on.
I think Babaji had to go through a wing change. I could not see in the pit window because I was focusing on KDB along with you. But
perhaps.
Yeah, they absolutely had to pit, because even though technically you can pull up to lap number 15, your tires do go to 78%, and even the slightest of curbs can puncture your tires. So it's better to play it safe and go on the hards or mediums, because they run for 20 plus laps.
Yeah.
And I think something happened in the pit.
And UK goes out on the grass. I was just about to say UK is running a steady P6, and he loses his rear, I presume, and goes on to the grass. Unfortunately for him, weird things happening over here at Zandvoort as RB Ferrello tries to get a move done on Big Man Joe down the inside of turn 1. But Big Man Joe taking the fight to Ferrello down the outside. Now this will be a gripping one to watch. On the gearbox of Ferrello, Big Man Joe.
He might pull a switchback move at the end of sector 2. Could be possible.
Seems like he's losing a bit of time to Ferrello.
Yes, definitely not easy to follow anyone on the track, even if you have clouds to help you control the temperatures.
I mean, on the bright side, he's got his teammate running in the points, so I'm pretty sure he'll be glad about it for now. 20 laps to go. General Pepe still leads this race, but with a shorter gap to the competitor. Horning right up there, but Horning's on 15-lap-old medium, so I'd say the real competitor for General Pepe right now is Avi on the 3-lap-old hards, and Ferrello who's on the fresh hards.
Yes, indeed. And Horning can stave off the competition for 6 more laps before he has to absolutely pit. And maybe if he gets a safety car in the middle, then that's the lottery to Horning, I suppose.
Yeah, Ferrello pulled off the move on Big Man Joe last time around at the same part of the track. I wonder if he can do it this time around. Big Man Joe isn't quite close to Ferrello. Some would say striking distance, locks up the front left as well. That's not going to help his cause as Horning goes into the pit. Setu RC18, sorry, yep, Horning comes out as well, and Setu RC18 goes into the pits.
I had dreams for the safety car, but sadly it was not to be. He rather pit earlier than I expected, because I was at least thinking he would go for 3 more laps and pit at maybe lap 19 or 20. But yeah, maybe playing it safe, directly going for the hards is a sensible option.
You can see the evident cause of a bad start that'll actually result in a bad race itself, because Gambler is running 33 seconds off KDB.
Yep, and it is absolutely brutal to see KDB down there, because he was running P7 at one point and almost managed to get into P4.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. Ever since the start of the race itself, 5-place grid penalty, and then things that translated thereafter. 15-second gap, another big gap we're seeing in the midfield between Wex and Rocketman. Rocketman pits with 16 lap old mediums, 17 laps evidently, and Mr. Wex running out on track with 14 lap old mediums. But yeah, that gap's pretty huge, and that's the gap to a points finish.
I think Wex and Rocketman will come out fighting, because Rocketman's exiting the pit right there, but Wex, ooh yes, it was so close, but I think Wex will have the hand over here.
Should be able,
or maybe not. Rocketman is right there.
Wex locks up quite a bit there, and I'd expect Rocketman to get the jump on Wex, even though he is on the hards, but Wex just pulls away. So that goes to show how determined Wex is to make sure he closes that gap.
Mr. Wex will eventually have to pit, sir, because you can see his mediums are like 15 laps old. I think the only other person who will have to pit, no, the 2 other person who have to pit would be only Kapi and Baby Shumi.
I'd say Baby Shumi pushed those hard tires for longer, but then again, at what?
I want to turn your attention to UK and Big Man Joe fighting right now. UK takes the inside line, and now look at them.
Oh, never mind. It's glitching all over the place. 2 cars going on top of each other. Oh, okay. Another reason.
They definitely had collision, because UK's driver raised his hand to signal a collision. We just don't know how severe was the collision.
I think the viewers will be able to describe that one, because it was a bit of a funny one on my screen. UK was on top of the Alfa Romeo. And let's leave it there. Meanwhile, Babaji running P6, trying to close that gap on Big Man Joe. 10 seconds is the gap between General Pepe and Avi. And this is lap number 19.
And let's not forget that Avi also has a penalty to go with it. He has a 3-second penalty, so Avi Ferrello and UK might just get the jump if they close in on the gap.
But both driver, it almost seemed like they were going into the pits, UK and Big Man Joe. Tricky. And right behind, Babaji might just benefit from this. I'm pretty sure they lost a bit of pace, and Babaji closing in on Big Man Joe.
This is going to be a 3-way battle, and there's barely, like, I would say maybe just 1 corner separating them from getting an overtake done.
As it stands, Babaji looking impressively fast. Closing in on Big Man Joe. Staying on board Babaji, however. 3-second time penalty for KDB. Not something you'd want if you're running P17 and fighting for the title.
Surprisingly, we have seen a cleaner race in comparison to all the other races so far, with only 4 drivers being penalized and freeze, of course, so 5. But he unluckily, I hope he does not hate me after saying that, but unluckily, yes, slip of tongue, but poor guy had so many penalties that he just could not take it.
Meanwhile, it's wheel to wheel up ahead. Ferrello and Avi. Something to watch out for. I was just gonna refer to the penalty Avi had. Ferrello would have possibly had the position done, but clearly he set his sights on General Pepe. He wants to fight for the race lead, and he's pushing with all his might. 5-lap-old hards should work in his favor, because the man in front's on 7-lap-old hards, but that 11-second gap is a huge one to close in.
For sure, and I do feel that given Avi's penalty, RB Ferrello is the best bet to charge towards General Pepe and maybe get something out of it. But with 11 seconds in 15 laps is something approachable at least.
Should be pretty well, and Avi with barely any ERS earlier on shouldn't be able to get Ferrello's position anytime soon. UK running P4 as it stands, and Big Man Joe as well. All drivers have an equal amount of ERS almost, but Babaji is the one with a tad bit more. Down the inside, could he possibly try a late brake move? Nope. The competitor ahead, however, locks up his front right, and Big Man Joe trying his best to close in on UK. Locks up his
I don't
rear
know
left.
how long these guys will keep fighting for Salvik, because this has been going on for like 4 laps now, and they are caught in a bit of a DRS train, I'm afraid.
Closer than ever for a while now. He's got 49% ERS, should have what it takes to pull off an overtake, but Big Man Joe fending him off nonetheless.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'd say this is when Babaji might just get his chance around the outside. He peeks down the inside to the next corner. No, locks up his right front and stays on the gearbox of Big Man Joe, however. Just can't get the move done, Babaji. Find it really difficult behind Big Man Joe.
Meanwhile, RB Ferrello has cut around 1 second of the time that General Pepe has in the lead. So that's something.
Yeah, and this is when he needs to get it done. Babaji down the inside of Big Man Joe. He's got what it takes. Wheel to wheel, the two drivers go. Both drivers are magnificent. 2 corners right there. And Big Man Joe still holds off the position. So Babaji down the inside. Big Man Joe lost a bit of traction there. Babaji should be able to get something done. Puts the front left on the grass just a bit. Big Man Joe still holding on. Almost had contact there between Babaji's right rear and Big Man Joe's front wing. Real close one, and should have the position. Babaji, well done.
Oh, it says RB Ferrello left the session.
Yet again, Rhodes, yet again. Avi will get that position conveniently.
That's just incredibly sad,
he'll-
because after working so hard, you don't want to see that happen to anyone.
Exactly, and even though it might just be that he reconnects and perhaps fends off UK and stays in P3 and could possibly get P2, what he was really fighting for was to close that gap to General Pepe. He was trying his best at least. Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. RB has come back, but just in time to fend off a really steaming UK, who's closing in on RB's AI.
Another interesting thing was how close RB was to, minimizing the gap, because even with his AI, RB Ferrello did set the fastest lap so far. So, yep, really unfortunate for the timing of that disconnection.
Meanwhile, it seems like Babaji has gotten the jump on UK as well. Seems like we missed just a bit. Or UK seems to be having an issue of sorts, because Big Man Joe's on the tail of UK too. So Ferrello gets to keep his position for now, but he's got Babaji to worry about. UK losing that position might just have played into Ferrello's hands and can take the fight to Avi. Meanwhile, Vic Street 56 at the back of the pack did spin out and have a bit of damage. He's lost part of his front wing. He'll be going straight into the pits. Unfortunate for him, he was running in points position at one point in this race. Right now in lap number 25, I'm pretty sure he won't be able to go back into the points soon. Let's jump straight to our race leader.
I think Freeze and KDB lost the most in this race, Sarthak. But KDB is soldiering on, but with that penalty as well, I doubt if KDB can score points today. Unless something massive, like a miracle happens for him.
Pepe leading this race with a 12-second gap to his closest competitor. Avi behind in P2. And quite the fight, P3, P4, P5, P6. I'm curious to see how this will go into the last couple of laps. Hopefully Ferrello doesn't have any more disconnections. Hopefully UK has resolved whatever issue he had, or possibly that was just a one-off incident. But it seemed like a bit of an unusual one, or I might have just missed it. All within a second of each other, the top four, I mean from P3 to P6.
Fight for P4 has been the highlight to watch for today, and I'm so glad that it has been this way. All the drivers are being tested and pushed to their limits. But yep, and another fight that went unnoticed was Gots and Racinish, but now Racinish is pretty far away from Gots.
Yeah, couldn't quite keep it for long, Racinish. Unfortunately, he's got 3-second gap to Horning Gouts, and he could possibly close the gap. He is on older hards, but perhaps just we could see a strong performance from Gouts. 10 laps to go, but a points finish nonetheless is a good result for him.
To pull the move on Vex, but Vex is coming right back on the outside. Ooh. There was some spicy shunting around, but Vex gets his position back for now.
Seto RC18 has Drunken Monkey to worry about. Both drivers race winners from last season. But kudos to Drunken Monkey, he's running ahead of KDB. Meanwhile, up the order.
What do you make of Drunken Monkey's entry into season 4, Sarthak? Do you think he's doing good so far for his first ever stint?
Well, let's say
league-wise?
Oh, disaster for Vex!
I don't know if you saw that, Sarthak, but I just saw Vex lose his rear end and land sideways on the track.
Yeah, we were on.
Setu dashed into him.
Yeah, we were on board Drunken Monkey, so we saw parts of it. We just saw Renault go into the air halfway. But yeah, Seto RC18 involved there. I wonder what kind of damage he's taken in the process. None, perhaps? Oh no, he goes straight in the pits. There's definitely damage.
I think he has lost his end plate. Yep, he has indeed lost his end plate.
Yeah, putting on the fresh medium tires in the process. And Vex manages to take the car into the pits. So you can be optimistic about that, because you know you'd expect a DNF in those situations. Clearly he didn't.
He thankfully caught the car. I was expecting carnage if he wasn't able to do that.
5-second penalty. Cross the pit lane, exit white line. Seto RC18.
That's rather unfortunate.
And it seemed like Vex did too. So I wonder if he'll get one. It seemed like the tires were on the line, so perhaps he might not. Gambler goes into the pits. He's running 39 seconds off of Mr. Vex, who's running P17. Not the greatest races for Gambler as of now. He'll be hoping for a safety car, hoping to get into the pack once again and possibly fight for position, P15, P16, whatever that might be. But right now he comes out on a fresh set of softs, much like the front drivers, the drivers ahead of him, 3 drivers ahead of him. Loses an end plate, goes onto the grass. What's happened to Gambler right out of the pits, and disaster struck for him, and he's left the session as well.
I hope it was not a retirement on track, because if he did, the stewards will have a word with him.
Yeah, it's definitely not the retirement. His AI is out on track. But yeah, I wonder what happened there. He came out of the pits and went straight onto the grass, lost an end plate, disaster. Seto RC18 seems to have retired from the session. And is that in the pits? I'm curious. Yes,
he
it is
in the pit.
So should be fine. That's completely allowed. Unfortunate for Setu RC18. He might have thought the race is pretty much wrapped up, but as it stands, seems like he's coming out on track. I'm looking at the track map right now, and a McLaren just came out of the pits.
That is indeed Setu, but the AI is controlling him. So he will be phased out very soon. You can see the yellow flag on the map right where Setu is. That's rather unfortunate because he did have an unlucky incident with Vex, which might have ruined his race maybe.
Meanwhile, Vex trying to take the fight to the competitors ahead. Baby Shumi, Vex 356, all ghosted for some reason. I'm guessing it's because of Horning's involvement right there in the back. Horning's running P7, so clearly they've been lapped. Vex trying to fancy move down the inside of Baby Shumi. Wheel to wheel, they go on the main straight. Oh, there was a bit of contact there between the two drivers at the back of the pack, but Baby Shumi will have to concede. Mr. Vex will have the position. Next up is Vex 356 on his list.
Gambler is still in the game, in the race, a minute and 5 seconds behind people, but he has not retired, contrary to what the game showed us.
Seems like he has had a disconnection. Two folks voluntarily retired already, Setu RC18 and Freeze. Believe it or not, both the drivers who retired are race winners as well, so clearly seems like the Williams are having an issue, or actually locked up the front right quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to see KDB and Babaji on the medium, so they will be the first ones to start suffering tire wear very, very soon. But they still have at least 6 laps to go before, it's absolute puncture territory.
Staying on board, Babaji, he peeked down the inside, couldn't quite get on the gearbox of Ferrello. Should be able to fight for position in a couple of corners.
Maybe Babaji is definitely on the faster tires, so that is in his favor.
Quite the replacement Richu Saha has chosen for Chris Bai. Clearly, driver fighting for podiums right off the bat. Ferrello running P3 is the driver to make sure the Williams team doesn't get a podium yet again. Ferrello, if he can hold on to the position that he has, will be able to get his second podium finish in the league. But with 5 laps to go, time will tell. UK running P5, set for his best finish perhaps in this season. Because after post-race deliberation, the stewards came to the result that KDB won the last weekend's race. Joel Pepe on the podium alongside Ferrello. UK finished Omega P5, I believe. So yeah.
As long as Ferrello can keep within 3 seconds of Abhi, he is guaranteed a P2 pretty much, because Babaji is also on a 3-second time penalty. So yeah, RB Ferrello is in a pretty sweet spot, but he must be lamenting the fact that he cannot go and at least try to challenge General Pepe.
Right at the back of the pack, KDB fighting for position with Vex. Not a rare sight, but a rare sight when they're fighting for position for P14. Right there with Vex 356.
Things have not been smooth for either of these guys. And yeah, like I said, Zandvoort is pretty nasty in terms of all this, but you can see the victims are clearly piling up.
Yeah, down the inside, Vex tried, but couldn't quite get it. KDB cautiously behind as well. On the gearbox of one another are these three drivers. Couldn't quite get the inside line there, KDB on Vex. But right after this incline, they should be fighting for position. As, yep, wheel to wheel, Vex and KDB go, and Vex 356 perhaps will join in as well, because KDB down the inside of Vex gets that position. He'll be looking forward to get the position of Vex 356 as well. He's in between the two drivers now. Around the outside he goes. Can he get it done?
Wix and Wex had the lights flashing for ERS, which means that the ERS was less than 10%. So KDB knew that this was the chance which he would not get anytime soon.
And Vix incredibly aggressive, trying his best to shut the door for KDB. You race at the back, KDB, you're racing up against Vix 356. So you're going up against a proven driver in the league, and he's fending him off pretty well, I must say.
Wix is a rather aggressive driver, and his defense is really on point.
KDB goes on the gravel, the grass, and will lose position to Vex as well. And the question is if he'll lose position to Baby Shumi, and yes, he will. KDB falls down to P16. The race just gets worse.
He cooked his braking zone. I just felt like KDB maybe went a bit too ambitious. The move was possible, but Wix just weaved a lot, in my opinion. So I don't know how that will turn out post-race.
Vix 356, however, will go on to fight for position, of course. Only Kapi up ahead of him. He'll be looking to get just one position jump is all that he'll be able to get, because only Kapi is 28 seconds off of Drunken Monkey, who's running P11, so that's not gonna close in on 2 laps or so.
Big Man Joe will be happy as the team principal of Alpha that he will have 2-point finishes today. If things go well, obviously.
I'm sure he will. Should have it. Drunken Monkey.
KDB spins again after crashing with Baby Shumi.
And up ahead, it's a fight for position. Vix 356 and Vex going wheel to wheel. Vix 356 did get the position off of only Kapi. Vex did as well in the process. But yeah, back to the incident at the back. KDB, a spin yet again.
It was half a spin. He caught his car, but sadly it was too late. His front and Baby Shumi's rear section of the car just collided, and yeah.
Meanwhile,
this is not KDB's day.
Meanwhile, Baby Shumi running P15, fighting for position with only Kapi. Close enough, I'd say. In a couple of corners, he just might be able to get a move done in the last lap. Meanwhile, Vex closing in on Vix 356. What a battle we are seeing at the back of the pack. General Pepe leads this race in the penultimate lap as well. Meanwhile, fight for P3 is on. Ferrello and Babaji within a second of each other. And Ferrello keeping it within a second of Avi, so he should have P2. General Pepe begins the final lap of this race. Quite the race it has been. Huge gaps along the field. 15 seconds gap between General Pepe and Avi. Truly, like some might say, he's in a league of his own, but I'd say his closest competitor got caught off with bad luck and is running P16. So could anyone stop General Pepe? It was KDB today, and he started off on a bad foot, so unfortunate for him. But as it stands, General Pepe will come along sector 2. Yes, just out of sector 2. As it stands, the fight continues at the back of the pack as Baby Shumi seems to have had an issue. He's fallen down to P16, the teammate of General Pepe. General Pepe comes along the last corner. He is a 3-time race winner. Once again, a race winner. General Pepe wins the Dutch GP for the first time in the Bwoah Racing League, the first Dutch GP, and General Pepe started pole, finished as a winner. Avi will come on track to finish P2 and stays P2. Babaji almost had the podium, UK into the podium, so I wonder if Ferrello racked up a penalty in the process in the last couple of laps.
He surely would have, because that was the one thing he wasn't supposed to do, but I guess Avi Ferrello did turn out to be very unlucky in the end.
Yeah, Gouts gets a points finish for the team. Rusty Nish puts the car in the points as well, which means both the Alfa Tauris, both the Alfa Romeos in the points. 2 constructors that can walk away happy after the Dutch GP. But General Pepe on top yet again. UK on the podium for the first time this season.
purely that fantastic qualifying really helped him. And driver of the day, Wix once again.
Yeah.
The game seems to be liking Wix now.
He did fend off some very strong drivers, even though at the back of the pack. And yeah, the climb, I think he finished P11, perhaps. I'd assume yes. Or P12. Drunken Monkey finishing P11, I'm sure. But yeah, this is General Pepe on the top step of the podium. If the driver's title goes their way, the constructors just might not, because Baby Shumi finished at the back of the pack yet again. A Renault on the podium as well. UK on the podium after quite some time. And that, folks, is race number 5.
Thoroughly enjoyed Zandvoort, and I cannot wait to see this track in real life, because I genuinely feel this might be the toughest challenge the drivers face.
Perhaps Baba G coming in as a driver for Chris Bai puts the car in P4. Good haul points. Ferrello with the fastest lap. Doesn't seem like he had penalties, but weird that he finished P5. But then again, I'm pretty sure that'll be deliberated post race. Big Man Joe P6. Horning coming P7. Gouts in the points P8. Rusty Nish P9. Rockman P10. Drunken Monkey coming in for the first time this season, finishes a strong P11. Vix356 P12, driver of the day, rightfully so. And Mr. Wex P13, only Cuppy P14, KDB after an unfortunate race P15, Baby Shumi P16, Gambler finishes P17, and Seto RC18 and Freeze had an unfortunate DNF and did not finish the race. And that is race number 5. The Dutch GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4. And we'll see you again, folks, next weekend. For the 7 of y'all who stayed till the very end, thank you very much. Hope you'll enjoy the race. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with RoadRunnerRacingCo Esports and the Bwoah Racing League, of course. See you next weekend, Roads.
Until then.
Cheers.